Hello, Benchwarmers. Welcome back to another 2020 NFL season prediction video, NFC West edition. Seattle Seahawks, second place in the NFC West. You already know how I do these videos. If you don't, you can go watch the other ones. So, Seattle Seahawks. They didn't really gain anything. They just lost a lot. I guess they didn't lose a lot, but I can't remember his name, but I guess one of their players has been suspended for 6 games for alleged domestic battery, was never charged, but they decided to suspend him 6 games, similar to Ezekiel Elliott. I don't know if he'll try to appeal it or not. Kind of BS that, same thing happened to Tyreek Hill, and, he didn't get anything. So, I'll leave that at that, though. So, Seattle Seahawks don't really have much of a pass rush, in my opinion. That's their biggest issue. They got Russell Wilson. They got DK Metcalf. And their receivers and running backs are fine. Their offensive line, not so great either. So, offensive line and pass rush, their biggest issue. Don't think they really did anything. They lost Jadeveon Clowney, which, it's an okay. And, I have my opinions on how they did, and I kind of lowballed them a little bit in my earlier prediction. This is my second time doing this. I kind of went over that in the 49ers, so go watch that video for that. Anyway, let's get into it. So, right off the bat, 3-1. Not too bad. Falcons, this is going to be a close game. Falcons are going to be better than what they were last year for sure. Last year they were, once again, riddled by injuries. If they do bad again, Dan Quinn has to be fired this time, right? I think their offense, depending on Todd Gurley, could be really, really good. I just don't know if Todd Gurley's going to be that guy. So I'm expecting the Falcons to be better this year, but slow start still. And then they're going to beat the Patriots. Said this in the last video, Patriots are going to be better than what everybody expects them to be, but not better than the Seahawks. So the Seahawks are going to take this one, especially since it's at home, and it says Sunday. Is that Sunday night? You are not winning Sunday night with Jarrett Stidham. And then the Cowboys. Is this another prime time? No, but it is an American game of the week. I guarantee it, because it's the Cowboys, and the NFL hates us, except for the Cowboys fans. But the Cowboys are going to have a high-powered offense. It's definitely going to be, whether it's Andy Dalton or Dak Prescott, honestly, look at all those weapons. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, Zeke Elliott, and now Mike McCarthy is their head coach, and this is a lot like the roster the Packers had when they went to the playoffs in 2010 and 2011. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl. Could be a 2011 type deal where they get knocked out by the Giants. That'd be hilarious, but the Giants aren't going to do that well this year, in my opinion. And then the Dolphins. Dolphins did a lot this offseason, but Fitzmagic is still going to be playing, and maybe we get some Fitzmagic, and maybe they do win it. But it's going to take a year before this team really gets going, and maybe late in the season they start Tua. Unless injury happens, they're not starting Tua. You're going to lose to the Vikings, because I had that in my Vikings prediction. I kind of come back about this one a little bit, because I just don't really know how the Vikings would do this, especially, oh god. The Viking, when I first predicted this, I didn't realize that it was a primetime game, and we all know how Kirk Cousins does in those. Of course, he did beat the Cowboys last year, but the Cowboys couldn't even beat the Eagles, who had 0 people on their roster. And then you're going to lose to the Cardinals coming out of the bye week. Ooh, 0-2 out of this stretch. Sorry about that, but the Cardinals are going to be that team this year. They're going to surprise a lot of people. Not enough to be second place in the division, which I did have them at my previous prediction, but I was really riding the hype. I realized I did this with the Browns last year. I'm not going to do this with the Cardinals, not making the same mistake. I do think the Cardinals are going to make a huge, massive improvement. They could even take the division, but I think this is the toughest division in football. Easily. Even the Rams, which I kind of hate the Rams right now. I don't hate them. I'm just very low on them. I don't trust them for anything, but I'll get into that in their video. But the Cardinals, I'll get into this in their video more in depth, but DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk, Kenyon Drake, Kyler Murray, what a hell of an offense. And this could be around when they're really starting to get it going. And that defense isn't too shabby either. Patrick Peterson, Chandler Jones, and Isaiah Simmons. Okay, I'm done going to the Cardinals. Seahawks video, right. They're going to beat the 49ers just like they did last year. They should have swept them last year, and I hate them that they didn't because the Packers would have been the 1 seed if they did. Would have been great. Would have been great. Would it have been a different outcome? Probably not. But a man can dream. A man can dream. But they're going to beat them here. Hopefully they have all of their running backs. If they did in the last game of the season last year, they would have beat the 49ers. They would have swept the 49ers. It's kind of crazy to me to think that. But this one, is this another one of those games? I probably won't be able to watch them, which sucks because that's going to be a really good game. Both of those are going to be really good games. But the Seahawks are going to take this one from the 49ers. They're going to split with the 49ers. They're going to take at least one, and I think it's going to be this one. And then they're going to beat the Bills. I am high on the Bills. But like when I originally was thinking about this, I was like, oh, the Bills are just going to beat them all. They're going to beat everybody. No, they're not. Got to calm down on my hype trains. I got to tell myself to calm down sometimes. Josh Allen, I think, is going to take another step. His decision-making is really his only flaw. Key example, lateraling to nobody in the wildcard game while being chased by the Texans defense. If he didn't do that, it's very possible that they might have won that game. But I think their defense is going to be insane. I think their offense with the addition of Stephon Diggs is going to be really good. But I think the Seahawks they're kind of riding a little bit of a high after beating the 49ers, and they're still mad about losing to the Cardinals probably. But that's just, there we go. Next 4. Gotta stop rambling, don't I? What is this, week 10? So, you're losing to the Rams. For one, they're coming off a bye week. I am not high on the Rams. I've said that before. But I don't see the Rams getting swept by their whole division. It's a very difficult thing to do. Like, you could try and it'd be hard. Even the Dolphins, who were tanking, didn't do it. But the Rams, they still have, on paper, a good roster. I do not trust Jared Goff. I don't know what to make of the running game because they're rookies, and I don't really know much about them. And their defense, they got Aaron Donald, they got Jalen Ramsey. Okay. But I still think the Seahawks are better. But I think the Rams in a new stadium, maybe they could surprise us and actually take the division again. Like I said, it's the toughest division in football. I have, all of these teams really close together. And then they're going to beat the Cardinals this time. Again, it's hard to sweep division rivals. The Packers were insane last year, and they swept their whole division. That's a very difficult task to do. So, I think it's fair to say that Arizona and Seattle splits. I think their defenses are similar, except Arizona's got a better pass rush. I think their offensive lines are similar. So their offensives are actually similar because they both have really good run games. They both have really good receiving targets, and they both have really good scrambling quarterbacks. Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson, their game is very similar, especially the fact that they're both short. Then they're going to lose to the Eagles. This one could be a toss-up. I think the Eagles would have won that game with nobody as receiver other than Zach Ertz. If it wasn't for Jadeveon Clowney taking out Carson Wentz, they would have won that game. They were still in that game with Josh McCown. So I'm going to say this. I know it's a new season. It's completely different. But I think the Eagles do win this game. I think they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder because of that, especially Carson Wentz. And then you're going to beat the Giants. I like the Giants. Don't like them that much. I think their offense is going to be a lot better than what people think. But their defense is a stinker. And then they kind of roll off with the Jets, Redskins, and beating the Rams, splitting with the Rams. They beat the Jets because the Jets are garbage. They have Denzel Mims at receiver. I wanted him for the Packers, but they took him a couple picks before. But they have them, like I said, they have Denzel Mims. That's about it. They got Le'Veon Bell too, but he hasn't been too good. Adam Gase doesn't seem to like him at all. Maybe Adam Gase is fired at this point. I don't know. Their defense is pretty good too, but their offense is trash. Uh, I feel bad for Sam Darnold because he has just been put in a terrible situation. The butt fumble, as Tree says. And then you're going to beat the Redskins. Redskins improved, not even close to enough. They've got at least 1, maybe 2 more years of rebuilding if they want to really compete. And then you're going to you're going to split with the Rams. The Rams are a good team. Ish. They're not that good of a team. They got good players, good individual players. They're kind of like the Browns that way, but they spent a lot of money. It blew up in their face, and they're suffering for it. They have their hands tied behind their back with these. It's a miracle that they're splitting with the Seahawks. And then you're going to kind of, almost run the table, but then the 49ers, they rain on that parade, splitting with them again, except this time, another afternoon game. It's these division games are always toss-ups. When you're predicting a division game, it's almost always a toss-up. So, I think their ceiling could definitely be 13-3, maybe 14-2. I think their ceiling's 14-2. Their floor. Yeah, their floor is 8-8, but I think 10-6 is more than fair. 10-6 is more than fair. Yep, there we go. So, that's my prediction. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and come back next time when we go over third place Arizona, much improved Cardinals.